my friends, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Amy and I am a cruelty-free makeup enthusiast. And right now all you can see are my hands. I am so sorry, I have not gotten a manicure in a very long time, and it is a Friday night and I'm like, you know what, I got back from work, I'm tired, but I was really inspired to do a collection video of my eyeshadow palettes. So today we're going to go through my eyeshadow palette collection and also do a declutter. Just to preface this, I love my makeup and I love collecting these pieces, but I do have also a sense of reality that makeup does go bad. So some things, you know, if they're getting a little bit older, I'll pass them on or maybe throw them away, and other ones I will give away to friends, family, coworkers, and depending on the brand, some of them I could probably still sell to GLAM. So let's just get started. And also another preface actually quickly before I start is that I am not a minimalist. So be prepared and maybe get a snack because this is going to be a long one. All right, so let's start. Let's see, where should I start? Let's do Too Faced first. So this is my mini Clover palette, which is absolutely adorable. I actually had the Clover palette, like the longer one, and that was a really good palette, and I ended up decluttering it just because I have so many palettes, and I think I'm gonna do the same thing with this one, just because this is really cute. But I found that Too Faced, their formula, now more than ever, it's just not as long lasting as I would like it to be. So there's a lot of fading throughout the day and I just don't really use this one. So although this is adorable, I am going to probably sell this one. So this is my chocolate bar palette. This is the OG from Too Faced. I love this palette so much and I've gotten so much use out of it, and it is the oldest palette in my collection, and as you can see I've really dipped into it. I originally had intentions of panning this palette, but as the years have gone on, the quality has just kind of faded and it's not just there anymore. It's very hard to get these shadows to last all day. These two shades right here, the Candied Violet and the Amaretto, are so dried up. So I don't even think I'd feel comfortable passing this along to anyone. I think it's time to actually just get rid of this one. So this is actually gonna go and be thrown away because I have had it since December of 2015 and it is time. So the next Too Faced palette that I have is the Gingerbread palette. So this is a super cute Christmas release from last year. And this is actually a really good quality palette because normally Too Faced does kind of silly holiday releases and the quality's not that good. This one's actually really good. I like this palette a lot. So much so last year I decluttered it and then I repurchased it. And that's going to be a reoccurring theme that you'll hear me talk about because I'm dumb. And I'll be like, oh, you know, I'm decluttering constantly. I need to move product to get more stuff in my collection, and I have to make room, and then I end up regretting some of the times that I do declutter. So that is this one. I am definitely keeping this. All right, so next I have the Life's a Festival palette, and this one is also from Too Faced. My friend Tina gave this to me as a gift. I had worked on a film that she had written and I did the makeup for that movie. So she gave this to me as a gift and she's like, you are a magical unicorn. And this palette is really beautiful. I know it's not the most popular thing with some people. It is like one of those limited edition palettes, although I think Too Faced was still selling this year, but it really does have some gorgeous shades in it and very wearable. As you can see, I've really dipped into this. So this shade right here, this Artist Pass, is a beautiful, like that oil slick kind of duochrome look, and they're just really pretty. This Sunset Dream one is just like a beautiful orange creamsicle shade. Gorgeous. So I will be keeping this one. This was a newer purchase that I made this fall. This is the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice. This is an HSN exclusive, I think. It's actually quite beautiful. It has the cute little pumpkin right there, if you can see. But these shades are really quite quite stunning. And these especially, I don't know if you can see that there's like texture in these. The ones that have like the lines going through them are super creamy and super pigmented. So I am actually going to hold on to this. There's some really beautiful orange shades in here. And I got this, again, I ordered it online at HSN, and it came with a pumpkin spice lip gloss and a Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. So I am going to hold on to this for a little while longer, at least because I do enjoy it. And finally, the last piece of my Too Faced collection, this is the Natural Lust palette. This packaging is probably the prettiest packaging that I own. I love the antiqued gold that's back here and the peacocks and the beautiful, beautiful birds, and it is just stunning. It comes with a little lookbook here, and it comes with like all these different looks. And honestly, this is a pretty palette, but I have to say that the pigment for some of these just isn't there. It looks a lot different when you actually swatch it. So this shade Peacock, which my eyes, you know, it automatically gets drawn to, it unfortunately just doesn't have the punch of the pigment that you want it to be there. And it is really pretty, but I'm not the biggest fan of really big palettes. Like, this isn't huge, and I do have a couple of bigger palettes, but I think I'm actually going to pass this along just because I'm kind of disappointed in the performance of this. And it's really hard for me to let this one go just because the packaging is so beautiful, but I also have to be realistic about what I'm actually going to wear and what I enjoy wearing. So this one is probably going to be sold. All right, so next I have my Aether Beauty palettes. So I have two of these. I have the Rose Quartz palette, looks like this. I really, really like these palettes. These are beautiful, clean and vegan and completely recyclable, actually. This packaging is very recyclable. So these are just some really beautiful rose quartzy shades in here. I love this palette, and if you could see, I've dipped in pretty well to it as well. So I am going to hold on to this. The next Aether Beauty palette that I have, this is the Crystal Gemstone palette. Now this is actually an all shimmer palette, and I did do a whole look with this, and that's in my previous videos if you want to check it out. And normally I'm like, oh, an all shimmer palette, but if you pull from other palettes, it looks really beautiful, and you can do a full look with this even if you just want to do all shimmers. So who says you can't put a shimmer in your crease? But this is really pretty. I'm going to continue to hold on to this because I just think that the Aether Beauty palettes are really special and unique. And again, I love supporting this independent female-owned brand that's vegan and completely clean. So next I have two palettes that are really more of like collector's items that I'll probably never ever get rid of. And these are my Storybook Cosmetics palettes. These are from their book club, and originally they were gonna do like a monthly book club, excuse me. They were gonna do a monthly book club, and these are the only two that I've gotten so far since I signed up in, oh, I want to say the springtime of 2018. So the first one was Little Women. Originally when they teased it, it was just like an image of this, and so they just had a prototype, and I jumped on it because Little Women is one of my favorite stories. I'm actually named after Amy March. My mom is a huge fan of Louisa May Alcott, but I just love the details of the book here, and I just can't wait to just display these on a shelf one day. So you get this really pretty mirror, there's a quote, and then these lipsticks that come in here, Storybook Cosmetics liquid lipsticks have an amazing formula, and I wish more people talked about it because these will last all day and they are super comfortable on the lips. So these are the really pretty shades in here. You like have this green, this kind of like brown, kind of muddy greenish brown shade, and then this deeper pink with sparkle in it. It's really, really pretty. So it's more of just like a collector's item, but I love books and literature, and I love makeup, so the two have combined here. So I will definitely hold on to this. And then the second one that came out, it actually took more than a year. So that Little Women one, they teased it in the spring of 2018. I didn't get it till November of 2018. And then this Adventure of Sherlock Holmes one was supposed to come out in 2018, and I didn't get this until the summertime, I think. Because I think it actually says 2018 volume 2, but I don't know what's going on there. But again, really, really beautiful, beautiful packaging. I love the colors in this one too, because you have the gold, you have the red, and then you have like this really, really deep blue right here. So, so pretty. Holding on to that one as well. Oh, I forgot, I have one more Too Faced item. So this is my hot buttered rum. I'm keeping this. I love this little thing. Isn't that just the cutest little packaging? But it's actually a really good formula, and whenever I need to do just a really quick look, especially during this time of year, this has just been a godsend. So I really love this little palette. I am holding on to it, and it smells delicious. Moving on to my one and only Urban Decay palette. This is my Naked Heat. Again, this is one of the ones that I actually decluttered after like a year and a half of use, and I had almost hit pan in a bunch of shades, and then I was dumb and decluttered it because I'm like, oh, I have too many red palettes. And then this went on sale one day and I repurchased it because I just really love it. I love this packaging. I love this 1980s tacky packaging. I don't know, there's something about it that I just really, really like, and I just love the colors in here. You get kind of the same look when you use this, but it's just such a good palette. And if anyone's ever looking for just like warm reds and oranges, this is really, really pretty. So I'm gonna hold on to this. Next, I have my two Nabla palettes. So the first one I have here is the Poison Garden, and oh wait, is it gonna? There we go. All right, focus. This is really the color story. First of all, the packaging is gorgeous. The color story in this is really, really beautiful. I just love, like, there's this blue, and you have this cranberry, and you have this cinnamon shade right here, and it's just such an interesting palette to me. The only thing that I've encountered with this palette is it's a little hard to blend. I don't know if it's just me, but the first few times I've used this, I've had to restart my makeup because it's been too much pigment, and it kind of doesn't really blend very well. But that may just be me. Again, I'm a makeup enthusiast. I'm not a makeup artist. So I'm definitely going to hold on to this because I do really like Nabla, so I want to give this a couple more chances before I declutter this. So for now, I'm going to hold on to it. The next one I actually haven't had a problem with blending. So this is the Secret palette, and this one is so, so pretty. I love these pink, and then you have this rosemary shade here, which is super unique. I really enjoy this palette. I think you can use it like through any season. That's why I think it's so versatile. But again, just a really unique color story. I recently made a purchase from Nabla, so I should be getting their Soul Blooming palette, which I've wanted. I've lusted over that palette for so long, and I got some of their singles. They haven't arrived yet, but I got them during Black Friday, so eventually they will be added to my collection. But this is a really, really beautiful palette, and these are now at Ulta, so if you can get your hands on them, I highly recommend this Secret palette. All right, so let's move on to my one and only Ciate London palette. This is my Jessica Rabbit palette, and I also did a Let's Play video with this. Now, I love Jessica Rabbit. I love Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's such a good movie that still holds up to this day, and I just thought this whole concept was so cool. There we go, open up for me. And the colors are very Jessica as well. The only thing is that these three mattes at the bottom aren't very pigmented, and I really had to struggle to build these up. And the shimmers are okay. It's just not that great of a palette. And it's kind of a bummer because, again, I'm happy that Ciate made a whole vegan palette. But it's just disappointing. I'm just not into it. And part of me wants to hold on to it for like the collector value, just because, not value, but the factor, I should say, just because I'm such a big cinephile. But honestly, I don't want to hold on to it if I'm like never going to use it. So while this makes me very sad, I am going to pass this on. I still have the beautiful highlighter with her on it, and I'm going to keep that highlighter. But I think I will pass this along. Alrighty, so next we have my Anastasia palettes. So this is probably one of my larger collections. I love the Anastasia formula. This is my Modern Renaissance, which has been beat to death. I love this palette so much. This is probably my second oldest palette in my collection, and I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. A lot of people say that they've noticed that the formula has changed over the years. I personally haven't experienced that. I think it wears just as well. And again, I don't think I could ever get rid of this, or at least I would probably repurchase it if it did go bad. But I'm going to hold on to this and continue to use it, because this is the palette that if I don't know what I'm going to wear and I'm in a rush sometimes, like, I know that I could always get a good look out of this palette. So that I am going to keep. Let me just preface this probably with saying that I'm going to keep all my Anastasia palettes, because all the ones I have I really like. This is my Subculture one, and I do have the first version of Subculture, and I love this palette. I think it's a beautiful autumnal palette. These shades over here can get very dark, but I really do think this is a beautiful, beautiful palette. It's one of the most unique color stories. I think it's so smart how they put these together. And I know a lot of people have issues. They said that it's like, I don't know, super fallout or kick up. And I honestly don't see any difference between any of my Anastasia palettes. So I really love this palette, and I will continue to use it as well. So I'm going to hold on to it. The next Anastasia one that I have is Soft Glam, and this one's a bit newer to my collection. I think I picked this up back in late October, and I've used this a ton. This is a really beautiful palette, and I held off so long from getting this because I'm like, I don't need this. This is, you know, this is just a boring palette, but it's just so good for every day, and especially for work. And I've really dug into this. So this is a beautiful palette. Holding on to this one as well. The Sultry palette. So I never thought I was gonna get the Sultry palette. It was something that I'm like, you know what, this is really pretty, but I just never picked it up. And then maybe about over the summertime when I was in a Marshall's, I saw this there, and I ended up getting it because it was like more than half the price. So I just think it's so cool because it's a cool tone neutral palette. I love this kind of pop of coral that you have here, and it's just very interesting. This birch shade too is very unique, and I love that there's like these silver and like taupey colors. So I really have been enjoying this so far since I got it. So I'm gonna hold on to this one. And then I have the beautiful Riviera palette. So this this release of this palette marked the insanity for Anastasia this year, because before, every palette like had a moment. It had like almost half a year to shine. And then this palette came out in the springtime, and I thought this was so gorgeous for the summer. I thought, oh my gosh, Anastasia is finally doing colors. So I went and got it because I just thought it was so pretty. And this palette really is beautiful. I'm very sad that it didn't get the love that it deserved, because immediately after they released the Alyssa Edwards, sorry. They released the Alyssa Edwards palette, and that one was just even more bold colored pigments. And so I felt like this one didn't get enough love, but this one's actually really good. If you're someone who doesn't want to play with too much color, this is like a really good palette to play with, because you have a lot of neutrals at the bottom that you can use. So I love this palette. I've worn it to several weddings actually, especially this purple here. I love using this purple shade in can, or con, I should say. But yeah, really, really beautiful. Sad that it didn't get enough love when it was released. The next one, and this is when we start getting into the hot fire ABH releases, talking about not getting enough love. This is the Jackie Aina palette. Poor Jackie Aina. This palette is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And see, as you could tell, I've played with every single shade. This is a beautiful palette. Some people said this was boring. This is not boring. I mean, you have pinks, you have purple, you have red, you have really interesting duochrome shades with green, and then you have caramel and all these really, really beautiful shades here. She made a beautiful palette. And again, I am so sorry that she did not get that she and this palette did not get enough love, because immediately they started releasing the Norvina Pro palettes, and then they released the Carly Bible palette, which I'm never gonna get because those little decorative ball things at the top like just make me go nuts. Like my OCD goes crazy. But this palette is really, really beautiful, especially for the fall too. So I am going to hold on to this. I have 2 of the Anastasia Pro palettes. If they didn't release like volume 2 and 3 and 2 weeks after volume 1, like if we knew that we would have a little bit more time to enjoy these volumes, or if I knew that they were going to come out immediately after, I'm not sure if I would have picked up this first volume 1, because the 3 is my favorite. But this is really pretty. It's just, at first I didn't think it was very cohesive, but the more I look at it, the more I get it. Like I see kind of almost 2 different palettes here, and the purples are really pretty. These colors down here are stunning. Again, typical ABH formula, and I think they're totally worth the price. So this is volume 1, definitely keeping this one. And then I have the volume 3, which is my favorite. So again, if I knew that this was coming out so close after volume 1, I probably would have only picked this one up. But I just love the shades in this. Look at those colors. So stunning. It doesn't even look like I've played with it, but I have played with it. And I think these are actually worth the money. They're really, really good quality shadows. So that is it for my Anastasia collection, keeping all of them. This is my Strobe Cosmetics Creepy Cute palette. Strobe Cosmetics has now rebranded as Shroud Cosmetics. This is a really heavy palette for a little thing. But there's these beautiful pastel shades in here, and then you have like this stone gray and this pure black. It really is a nice palette. The only issue that I have is that I've recently got another pastel palette back, I don't know, maybe in the early summertime of this year, and that was the, let's see, the Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Tokyo one, and as you can see, they're very similar, and they both have a gray and a black in them. So I think, I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I think I'm going to declutter this, just because I don't need 2 pastels. Like this one, this black, and this one's a little bit stronger than this, I think. But I think I prefer this palette more because it has all like the glitters at the, well, not the glitters, but just like the toppers at the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'll come back to my Nomad cosmetic collection, but I'm going to declutter the Creepy Cute. I did for Black Friday, I got their other palette, and the name is escaping me right now, but I still haven't received it yet. But I'll be playing with that one a lot. But I'm so sorry to see you go, but I have to let you go. Okay, since we're talking about Nomad, let's just keep going. Nomad Cosmetics is a really cool vegan indie brand, and every time they release a palette, it's based off of a location, and they get colors that are inspired by the place that they're naming the palette after. So this is the Tokyo one. It's so freaking cute. This is like probably one of the cutest things I own. I just love the shades in here. And then the whole bottom row too are these topper shades, so that can really transform the look. So I'm gonna hold on to this. This isn't going anywhere. This one is the Marrakesh palette. And first of all, look how gorgeous. So pretty, right? These colors are so beautiful. Again, like they're all inspired by like, there's spice markets and just, it's just so pretty. Just so pretty. And the yellow here, is a really, really beautiful yellow. So you have that, you have like an aubergine color over here, you have some kind of rosy tones going over here, and then the blue and the turquoise and the red, and it's just such a rich palette. So I am definitely not getting rid of that one. And then I have my oldest Nomad palette. This is the Antilles one. Don't you just love the little flamingos on it? And this is probably one of the brightest palettes that I own. So beautiful. Again, as you can see, like I've actually really used this palette. So I like using this during the summertime. I think it's so pretty to just use 1 or 2 shades. Like that's all you need, just like a color on the lid, color in the crease, and you're good to go. And you could go out to like the beach or shopping, or it's just so complimentary in the summertime. So I'm also going to hold on to this because it's a very special palette. Their formula too is bomb. Like their shades are so buttery soft, like almost creamy like in texture, particularly with this palette. It's just so beautiful. Highly recommend Nomad Cosmetics. Another palette that I have, this is my only pure palette. This is the Barbie one, and this was for Barbie's, what was it, her 50th collection? Her 50th anniversary, 60th anniversary, something like that. It may even be longer than that. But Pure did this, and I just thought they handled this collection so well. It was grown up Barbie. It wasn't childish. It was very glamorous. And again, you have some really, really interesting, pretty shades here. You have the neutrals on top, the pinks, the purples, the blacks. There's a glitter shade here. And these eyeshadows are actually very, very creamy. I think they're almost more of a cream to powder formula more than anything. And I've actually enjoyed using it so far. So for now, I'm going to hold on to this. I really like, oh, you know, it's a really great shade. This one right here. What is this one called? Oh, I don't think they have any names. Oh, they don't even have any names. But this one right here, this like pink shimmer, gorgeous shade. All right, so let's go into, this is gonna be difficult. This is my ColourPop collection. I have so much ColourPop, and it's like it's like tripled in size this year alone. So let's start off with my favorite one, because this is never gonna go anywhere. This is my Good Sport palette. This one was the fall release of last year, and this was my favorite palette of last year. It's so, it's just perfection. If this was me in a palette, like this is me in a palette, if I would have chosen the colors, like this is what I would have chosen. I just think it's so cohesive. This orange shade, it's a burnt orange with blue shimmer and purple shimmer in it. Stunning. It's so unique. I love this palette. I love the greens. I love the purples. You can do sunset eye with this kind of look, and it's just so beautiful. I love this palette, so I will hold on to this probably till I die. One of my newer additions to my ColourPop collection is the Disney Midnight Masquerade, and I managed to stay away from the other Disney collections that they've done, and this is the most recent one. Look how pretty the artwork is. But I love this one. So this is actually a really nice palette. I swatched it in Ulta, and I could not get it. These are really, really beautiful. This shade, what is this? Mama Odie? This one is such like this, it's pink, but it's got like pearl reflex in it, and so pretty. I love that you get more mattes in this one. All these are mattes down here, and then you have 3 mattes at the top. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like shimmer shades, and then you have 2 glitters. I'm not the biggest fan of the pressed glitters in palettes, but it's just a really cohesive palette, and you can really like dress this up or just do like an everyday eye look with it. So I really think it's pretty. I'm a huge Disney fan, so the fact that I've held off until now, I'm really proud of myself. So 2 other Disney things, because they hit me hard this fall and winter, are the Frozen 2 collection. So I have the Elsa and the Anna. I did a whole video of Ice Queen tutorial featuring the Elsa palette. This is a really, really pretty, like icy, cool tone palette with just like these hints of berry in it. It's a pretty palette. It's not the best, but I do enjoy the colors in here. And then The Anna palette is more warm toned. So you have like the purples, you have the browns. I actually haven't played with this one yet. And the sucker in me, the collector in me ended up picking it up when ColourPop had a sale. So I got both of these and I'm gonna hold on to them for now. So we'll see how I feel in a couple months, but I'm happy that I have them. All right, so now I have, these are like the 9-pan palettes. So this is the Baby Got Peach palette. I love this one. I remember when this first came out thinking, oh, it's kind of boring, but also I'll wear this thing. And I do. I wore it a ton in the early fall. And so I'm going to hold on to it because there's some really beautiful shades in here. The Get Even one, this is like a peachy shimmer, but with like gold. This one right here is so, so pretty. So I'm going to hold on to that. This is the Brown Sugar palette. This was the collab between Carucci and ColourPop, and these are beautiful shades. These are really, really pretty. Fortunately, this is a little broken. This is a gorgeous palette. Like, if you don't want like a basic neutral palette, this is really pretty. The problem is I have so many, especially, and you'll see coming soon, I have so many like neutral ColourPop palettes coming. I think I'm gonna declutter this. Yeah, I'm gonna declutter it because I don't even know if they still sell this anymore. So I'm gonna pass. Ooh. Here's my Just My Luck palette. This was the first monochromatic palette that I got from them because green is my favorite color. I've actually worn this a ton. It's so pretty and I always get compliments when I wear it. So I especially love the shade Big Banks. This Mary Jane one is like that really bright, like almost lime type of green, and then the olive view. So cute. This olive shade right here is just really stunning. So it's a really nice palette. You can kind of go really light with it or super dark, and I just really like it. So I'm gonna hold on to this one. This is the Honey palette. This is the yellow one, and I really like a lot of the shades in here. The Sunburst shade is really stunning. The Dandy one, the Queen Bee, and I remember getting really excited for a yellow palette. But the thing is, I actually don't wear it as much as I thought I would. And like this was the first one that I got with like the glitter in the middle, and it's beautiful. So it's unique. So I think for now I'm gonna hold on to it, but depending on how many times I use this, probably I'll probably give it to the fall of next year. And if I haven't used it a lot over the summer and into the fall, I'll probably declutter it then. But for now I'm gonna hold on to this one. This is the Blue Moon one, and this is such a pretty palette. I actually got rid of my Bretman Rock ColourPop palette because I just preferred this one better because this has all the blues. So you can go again really deep, really light. There's a beautiful periwinkle right in the center here that's quite lovely. So I wore this the other day at work, and yeah, I wore all blues at work and people were like, that is gorgeous. And it is really gorgeous. So I'm gonna hold on to it because this is like the only full blue palette that I have. So I'm gonna keep that. And then I have 3 here that are kind of on the newer side. So I have the Going Coconut palette, and this is a neutral, kind of leaning towards cool tone neutral, and this is beautiful. And some people might think this is boring, but this is really, really nice for work. And I've already worn it like 2 to 3 times, and I just think it's so easy to work with, really easy to blend, great formula. Again, all these are like typical ColourPop formulas. They're really, really, really strong. Great pigment, easy to blend. Keeping this one. I have these 2 that were Ulta exclusives. They were like part of the bird kind of collection because I know that they did the little, like the one with the peacock feathers on it, and then these 2 were like the Ulta exclusive, and I love owls. I actually really love birds. I'm a big animal lover, but these were the only two I picked up because these color stories kind of called to me and I felt like I would wear this more. So I have the Birds of Paradise and the Night Owl. The Night Owl is a bronze palette. So I've always wanted like an all bronze, and here it is. This color right here, this Bird Brain one, is worth the whole palette. Beautiful shade. And then this one, this is a coral palette. And so corals, especially in the summertime, will be beautiful. I've worn this a few times, and this So Fly is stunning. This is almost like a coral peach color, and then Wing It is like a beautiful, I don't even know how to describe this, just the reflex in it are so stunning. So I'm gonna hold on to these. I like that these are the smaller 9 pan and that they're not the plastic. I like these cardboard ones, so I'm gonna hold on to these two. We still have 3 more ColourPop palettes. Okay. This is the Through My Eyes. This is the I Love Sarahi collection. This is a beautiful palette. So stunning. I love that there's brights. There's like these kind of teal shades, the pinks. And I love like the kind of summery, it just reminds me of summer. This is a beautiful palette. I've traveled with this before when we went to a wedding out in the summer, and again, I just really like this palette. I like this cardboard packaging. It's actually the same as these two. They're like super soft, so I'm gonna hold on to that one. And then there's the Truly Madly Deeply, which again was an Ulta exclusive as well, and I just love this palette. It's just like the purpley, mauvey toned, rosy toned palette of my dreams, and it's beautiful. And again, I'm not crazy about the glitters in here, but this is a really beautiful palette. I love wearing this one. So I'm gonna keep that too. And then we have, lastly for ColourPop, we have the Kathleen Light So Jaded. This is another one that it's just so good, guys. And I said this in my recent favorites video. I just love that you could kind of see like the quads in here, like how these kind of shades go together. It's just so well thought out. And if you're just going to pick up one ColourPop palette from this year, like out of all the releases this year, this is the one I recommend. So I'm going to hold on to this. It's actually not as big as you would think it is. I'm still not into like really big palettes, so this is like one of the only ones that I'm gonna be keeping or have in my collection. So that's that. All right, so let's move on to my Pacifica palettes. I have 2, and this is the most recent one. This is their Cosmic Reflect. This is the hemp infused shadows. They did like a whole hemp line, which is so funny that that's like a thing now with the makeup companies. You know, Milk Makeup has like the Kush line, and Melt Cosmetics did like the smoke sessions, and then there's these. So I do love though, that's so pretty though with the moon and everything and the stars and then the random hemp leaves. But this is really pretty. They did not skimp out on this brush either. Look how nice that brush is. It's like super fluffy. I've been meaning to do a video reviewing this and the mascara and a lip gloss that's all part of this hemp line. I haven't played with this enough to really give you just my thoughts on it. So one day I'm going to film a video with this. So I'm going to hold on to it for now just because I still want to film with it. But there are some really pretty shades in here. The only thing is that there's very few mattes. I think there's only 3. Yeah, which is, you know, I wish there were more. This is the Beachy Punk palette from Pacifica, and I love the shades in this. It's just such a unique palette. This chartreuse right here, you have a lavender. It's just really interesting, these kind of teal, deeper blue shades. It's really gorgeous, and I love that it matches the component, like the decorative outside of the packaging. But I've had this for over 2 years now, and I didn't touch it at all this year. So although I really like this palette, I'm gonna pass it on just because I haven't touched it. So hopefully someone will enjoy this. All right, so moving on, I have some very pretty kind of purpley toned, rosy toned palettes. So this is, I forgot that I had this Too Faced palette, this Pretty Berry one. This is the Razzle Dazzle Berry, which is really pretty. That's what it looks like in there. It smells so good too. This one's a little bit newer to my collection because I got it when it was on sale this year. And then I have a really long time love. This is my Lunatic Cosmetic Labs. This is the Supernatural eyeshadow palette. This is, I love this packaging too. And I just really like this company and what it stands for. So there's that. And then here's my Kat Von D Lolita, which I actually really like this palette. This is like my last Kat Von D eyeshadow palette that I have. And it's really, really beautiful. And I just love the tones in here because you go from like kind of lightish purples all the way to like really deep. You've got like a berry here, and then you've got this deep shade, this like eggplant shade here. So here's my struggle. I'm like, I don't think I need to keep all 3 of these. This is really hard. I want to keep this one just because it's like newer, and I feel like I can use it in conjunction with these. So I think just because this Lunatic Cosmetic Labs one, because this is so older, like this has to be like 3 or 4 years old. So this is hard, but I think I'm going to declutter this one just because this Lolita palette I got earlier in the year. So it's still like newer, and I do want to hold on to it because it is really pretty. So I'm going to hold on to these just because they're newer from this year. And although I love this, maybe sometime in the future I would repurchase this. Maybe when I get my collection down even more, but I'm going to pass this one on. So I'll just keep these 2. Alright, so next we have my one and only Beauty Crop palette. This is the Espresso Yourself. It's so cute. It's all inspired by coffee, and it has all these coffee names. It's a really pretty neutral palette. My favorite colors are down here. This pumpkin spice and then the raspberry mocha are really pretty. My friend gave this to me. She received PR from them, and she passed this on to me, and it's really beautiful. But the thing is, I have so many neutral palettes that I think I'm just going to pass this on. But this is really nice quality too, and it's I think all their stuff is vegan, which is pretty cool. But I think I'm just going to pass it on just because I have so many neutral palettes. Next, I have a 100% pure rose gold palette. This is actually a really beautiful palette. There's the 3 eyeshadows, and then you have a blush and a highlighter in here. I did wear this several times when I first got it, but the thing is, because it's all shimmers, I just don't reach for it as much. It is really pretty, but it's just kind of collecting dust. I haven't reached for this in a really, really long time, so I'm going to pass on this one as well. I will give this one away. This is my Sugar Pill Little Twin Stars palette. This is the only thing I own from Sugar Pill. I bought it when it was on sale, and I just think it's just the cutest little thing. I love these really pretty colors in here, but the thing is, to get like a whole cohesive look out of it, like these 2 really go well together. Like I would do this in my crease, this on my lid. You could use this shade as a blush, this is a highlight, and these 2 shades are beautiful metallics. I just don't pull it out enough to use it. Like you have to use other palettes with it. I do think it is really pretty, but I just don't reach for it enough. And I have other bright palettes, so I think I'm going to pass this one on as well. So we're going to declutter that. All right, so let's do my Lime Crime palettes. I only have 3 because throughout the time of collecting my Lime Crime palettes, I've actually decluttered a bunch. So I have the 2 XL ones. I have the Venus XL. This is the original one. I love the Botticelli Venus on these. So cool how they did that. And I love this. It's all reds, and you've got purples and pinks and lavenders and coral, a beautiful base canvas shade right there. So this is just a really pretty palette. So I'm gonna hold on to this. I liked this palette so much. I liked it more than my Jeffree Star, what is that one called? The Blood Sugar, that I decluttered Blood Sugar earlier this year because I liked this one better. So definitely keeping this. I have the Venus XL2, and this palette does not get enough love. People said this was boring. I don't think it's boring at all. I think this is a beautiful palette. I mean, look, that is a gorgeous palette. Like, I love the pinks and the greens, and then you have like these coppery shades down here. It is a beautiful, beautiful palette, and I think it is a shame that not enough people loved on this because it blends really well. I think where they may have failed in here, what I would have liked them to do is just to add like this, what a cool pop of like vibrant green and then maybe like a peach shade. If they added that in here, I think it'd be really cohesive. But yeah, so that's that, but I'm gonna keep it because I do really like it. The last Lime Crime palette that I have is the Immortalis, which this is so beautiful. I love the marbled Venus here, and it's a cool toned palette, and it's, if you just like want to have a smoky eye, this is so pretty, but you could go really simple with it too. I just really like it. It's very unique to my collection, and so I'm definitely going to be keeping this one. I think it is beautiful. I have my e.l.f. palettes here. I'm just gonna say, I've thought about this. I really like the e.l.f. eyeshadow formulas, like these pressed pan ones. They're actually really, really nice, but I'm gonna declutter all three of these. I kind of made that decision earlier. This is the beautiful rose gold. This is a stunning eyeshadow palette. It's beautiful, look at that. I mean, it's just warm toned, beautiful, the rose gold shades. It's just that I have similar palettes to this. As particularly my Jackie Aina, so I'm gonna pass this along. The Opposites Attract. This one's probably the least favorite out of my e.l.f. palettes. I like it because it has the cool tones and the neutrals. I'm sorry, the cool tones and the warm tones. But the cool tones were a little bit hard to work with. I actually had a hard time blending them. So although I love the concept of this, I'm going to pass this one on. This one, this is the new Nudes one. This one's my favorite that they have because this is a really great dupe for Soft Glam. It's just a beautiful palette, and I actually use this quite a bunch, but I have a coworker who I know really wants this palette, and I know it'll make her day if I give this to her because she's an actress just like I am, and I know she wanted something kind of neutral for shows, so I'm gonna pass this on and give this to her. It's hard to let it go, but I have so many palettes, so all three of these are gonna get decluttered. So on to my Jeffree Star palettes. I have three of them. Here's my Alien palette, and this one is actually my favorite, and it just has such unique shades. Let me see if I can show that to you. You know, it has the chartreuse, the greens, the purples. This really beautiful, like, gray is stunning, but it's such a unique color story, and I really like this. So I'm gonna hold on to it for sure. Jeffree's formula is really good. I have the Mini Breaker. This one I got in his mystery box, so in the Halloween mystery box, and I was surprised that he was giving these away, but this is really nice. Like, originally when you look at this you go, ugh, how do I wear this? But if you pair, all these shades go really well together, so it's a very well thought out palette. This one is my favorite shade here, this one, Oral. It's this beautiful like blue purple shifty kind of shade, and then this one, the orange with the sparkle in it, is so pretty. So you can actually wear this, like, I feel like this is a spring summer fall palette. You can get away with like a 3-season kind of thing with it. It's just so beautiful, and I'm really inspired by it. And I never thought it would be in my collection because I never thought I'd own anything from the Jawbreaker collection, but I'm happy I have it. It was a pleasant surprise. The last thing I have is Conspiracy. So I have the Shane Dawson and Jeffree palette. This is probably one of the coolest packaging I think I've ever seen on a palette. I love this thing, and I was so happy to get it, and I like it because it's a very neutral palette. Now, originally your eyes kind of go to the brights, but everything else, this whole top row, this bottom row, even these, like this orange and this red shade, and then even the pink and like this slight green here, these two are really the only brights, and I just think it's just such a pretty palette. I've enjoyed just doing looks just at the top row especially, and then I've used the black. The black isn't the strongest black I've ever tried, but I've really enjoyed this palette. I don't see any difference with the Jeffree formula in this. I think it blends out very nicely. Again, I've gotten many compliments at work when I've worn this, so I'm definitely going to hold on to this. This is a beautiful palette. All right, so I have this Milani. This is the only Milani palette I have. This is the Gilded Rouge. And I'm not crazy about it. I love the colors in this, and I really want to do like a full face of Milani because I have a lot of products from them. They're a really great drugstore brand. And in theory, this palette is actually quite nice, like color-wise. I just don't reach for it. And so for that reason, I'm gonna declutter it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. This Butter London, what is this palette even called? Natural Goddess. So my friend gave this to me, and originally when I'd first seen this, I think someone, I saw it teased in the BoxyCharm, and I thought this was so pretty, and I really wanted it. And so when my friend was giving this away, I grabbed this up. But I have to say, the shimmers are really beautiful, but I'm really not crazy about these two mattes. This color is so unique, but it's so patchy when trying to blend. So again, I feel bad because my friend gave this to me because she gets like a lot of PR and she gets BoxyCharm and stuff. But I'm going to give it away because I just don't think I'm going to use it. So that one's a declutter. All right, so I have the Physicians Formula Rosé All Play. I recently did a review on this, a 3 looks 1 palette, and I'm gonna hold on to this because this was actually pretty nice for a drugstore, like a drugstore palette. And I never tried anything from Physicians Formula that was eyeshadow based, so this was actually pretty good. The only thing was that the metallics weren't as strong as I'd want them to. To really get them to be very bold, you really have to dig into the pan. And once you do that, once you layer it up a lot, it does have a quite nice effect. But I have a feeling like I'm gonna lose the Pretty Rose imprints very soon. I already have started to, just because I have to dig into these so much, and there is a lot of kick up on them. But I really do like it, so I'm gonna hold on to it. I have one full palette from Lethal. I also have some other singles, but this one's in a full palette. This one is so beautiful. Again, there's like a really cool periwinkle shade here. There's a deep plum here. There's a lavender. I love this like peachy metallic that's here. It's just so pretty. And Lethal's a really cool like vegan company out of Germany. And I just like supporting indie brands. And I actually haven't played with this yet, but I can't wait to. So really, really pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this one. The next thing I have is my Only Dose of Colors palette. This is my Mickey Mouse. This was for his 90th anniversary collection that they did. And this is actually a really good palette. There's a beautiful highlighter in here, and the shimmer shades are so strong, and so are the mattes. There's a lot of kick up with this palette too, but I think it blends very nice. Again, there's the Disney fan in me that really wanted to pick this up. And I love the shades in here because it's like, oh boy, and all these like things that Mickey Mouse says. So I'm gonna hold on to this still for now because I think this is actually a really nice palette. I have my one Melt Cosmetics palette. This is the Gemini. And I remember I had so much FOMO over this palette because when they first teased this, I wanted it so bad. And they sold out, and then they weren't, like, people said they wanted it, and then Melt wasn't restocking it, and they were only doing the 27 palette, and everyone went, no one wants the 27 palette, everyone wants the Gemini palette. And this is like, this palette's so beautiful. I love how grungy it is. I'm a sucker for grungy palettes. The only thing that I'm gonna say about this is that I do have a hard time kind of working with their formula. I mean, once you get it to work, it's really beautiful, and the colors are worth it, but I kind of struggle with it. I am still going to hold on to it because it's so beautiful, and again, I did lust after this. I mean, look how gorgeous that packaging is. But I know has anyone else experienced this with Melt formula before? Am I the only one? I don't know. Please let me know. I have one Ofra palette. This is a pro palette of theirs, and it's very, it's a new release. This is the Soul palette, and it's quite a big palette. It's face and eyes, so we have like these kind of warm neutrals up here, blush, bronzer, yellow powder for setting. Oh, there's plastic over this. Hold on, take that off. You have like two kind of eyebrow kind of shades here that you could use to fill in your eyebrows, and then you have 3 highlighters, and the highlighters of course are bomb. Like Ofra's baked highlighter formulas are awesome. I got this when I had a 20% off at Ulta because I just always wanted to try one of these big Ofra palettes, and so far so good. I mean, again, I've used this, and the highlighters. I really like the face products. The eyeshadows aren't the strongest thing, but a formula, but I'm gonna keep working on this and try it. I mean, I definitely am gonna keep it because I love the face products in here. The eyeshadows I'm just like not the most crazy about, but they are really pretty. So I'm gonna hold on to this. Maybe I'll do a video about this too because it's still pretty new. All right, now I have my Menagerie palettes. So my first ever Menagerie palette that I got is the Feral one, which is so beautiful. So I bought the original one and then they switched out some of the colors. I think it was these two right here. These two were more neutral shades, and they switched it out to have this beautiful blue and then this this kind of like this gold here, this reddish gold. And I like that they switched out the colors because it matches more of the artwork, which is beautiful. And I love this palette. So I ended up buying these 2 singles and then popping the other 2 out and putting these in because they are magnetic, so they're easy to kind of pop out and move around. And this is just a beautiful palette. I love the greens in here. The purple, this purple is like one of the strongest vegan formulas with purples. Really, really great indie brand. They used to be Makeup Monsters and then they rebranded as Menagerie. Sorry, brain not working, but this palette's beautiful. I'm definitely going to hold on to this because the formula for these shadows too are so buttery. I also have their new release. This is the Killer Purr. Again, beautiful artwork that they have. Just so beautiful, and I love that all these shades are so wearable. You only have 2 metallics in here. The rest are matte. Just such workable shades, and I love that this is kind of like a Natasha Denona dupe because she did like a Safari palette, and I heard that palette wasn't that good. This palette is great. So definitely holding on to that. And then I have my singles from Menagerie, and it comes in this beautiful packaging with the foxes. Look at the little baby foxes. So I have an assortment of different Menagerie shadows in here. These 2 right here were the ones that were originally in the Feral palette. So this one right here, and then I just popped them out and put them in here. But some of these shades are from like their Purple Jellyfish. I think some of them were from a Dragon palette they had. Just really, really beautiful shadows that kind of spoke to me. So I created my own palette. All right, we're in the home stretch, guys. So I have 4 Tarte palettes. I used to have a lot more, got rid of a ton of them. Let's start with probably my favorite one. This is the Unleashed palette. So it has the Young Wild Cruelty-Free. I love that. See how cool that is? Boop, boop. This is their vegan palette, and it's a beautiful palette. I love this thing. I love how it has like little animal puns on it too. Like there's 2 can do it, no fox given, iguana love you, and it just totally, it's just so cute. You have nice cools, warm tones in here. It's just a beautiful palette. I'm really inspired by it. I've actually dipped into it a lot, and it probably, you know, again, one of my probably top, I got so many palettes this year, but this is one of the top palettes that I got this year. So my other one that I really like, this is the High Tides and Good Vibes palette, and this was what made me kind of fall back in love with Tarte eyeshadows because I got rid of all their Tartelette shadows. I just wasn't crazy about the formula, but this one is actually really good, and I just think this is a stunning palette. Again, cool tones, warm tones, and then you have the glitters going down. These glitters are really good too. They stay on like even without a glitter glue. They're really good. I just love this sea foam shade and this coral shade right here, and it's just so beautiful. Like during the summer I went down to the beach and I filmed with this thing, and I did a whole video on it. You could see it in in my reviews, but this is just a really beautiful palette. This is probably one of Tarte's best. So these two are really, I highly recommend them if you want to get Tarte palettes. And I think some of them were on sale recently. And then I have two somewhat older, like limited edition Tarte palettes. I actually picked these both up not too long ago, like I want to say maybe during the summertime. They were having a huge sale, and they had these older limited edition palettes still on the website, which I had no idea they were still available. So this one is the Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust, this cool toned one. And then this one with the shimmer shades, this one is the Make Believe in Yourself, this was like their unicorn collection. But I like both of these a lot. These are really pretty, and the formulas aren't bad. I really like this just if I just want some colorful shimmers that are not too in your face. And then you have the highlighter in the middle, and then this one is the pretty cool toned. And although these might seem like childish, I think these are both really beautiful palettes. So I kind of really weeded down my my Tarte collection, and these are the four I'm happy with. I'm not really interested in anything new that they're putting out, but I'm happy with those four. All right, so we are in the last few palettes. So these are some clean palettes that I have. So these are from cleaner friendly brands. So this is my Ilia. This is the Cool Nude palette. Again, very pretty cool nudes. I just like holding on to a few cleaner formulas, just so if I ever want to make a clean or non-toxic beauty video, I could kind of refer to these. So this one's actually really beautiful. I recently reviewed this in a Trying New Clean Beauty, and I like this palette. I think it's really pretty. I love this red shade down here. Really, really nice. So I'm going to hold on to this. This is my Cloven Hollow palette. I don't even know what the name of this thing is. It's not even on the back, but Cloven Hollow is like, if you want to try non-toxic beauty, but that's really affordable, they're a really good brand. Like, I feel like their prices are super reasonable, and you know, you could still get stuff for under $20 from them. And this is a really pretty palette. You have like kind of some pinky shades here, some warm shades. I haven't played with this one yet because I'm planning on doing a full face of Cloven Hollow. I have a lot of their stuff. They're a really, really good brand that I like to support. And now we're on to the last two palettes, and these are really special because this is, these are eyeshadow palettes from PYT, which is the first brand that ever gave me PR, and they've just been so, so kind to me. They found me and reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to try stuff, and it was like right before they released in Ulta and Anthropologie, and they're just a really cool, clean beauty brand and female owned, really, really sweet to me. They granted me like a Q&A for my website, so I'm definitely going to hold on to these. So this is the original palette here. This is the No BS palette, which is so pretty. So you've got like this beautiful highlighter shade, a base shade, and I've dipped into this a lot. I just like this when I'm on the go, kind of like in a rush. It's nice and small and sleek, and you can apply, you know, reapply throughout the day. It's just a really nice, thoughtful palette. So I'm going to hold on to that one. And then they recently came out with a new one. This is the warm toned one, and it's a vegan formula, so that's cool for them. This is the Warm Day to Night eyeshadow palette, and I love the shades in here. So beautiful. The red especially. So I'm going to hold on to these just because of sentimental value. So these are all the palettes I'm going to declutter. So I'm actually getting rid of 16 palettes. So ones that are more like drugstore or not accepted by GLAMbot, I'm going to give them away to coworkers and friends. And then the only one that I'm going to throw out is my chocolate bar. It's a love affair that is going to go away because it's expired, and I don't even want to give it to someone if it's expired because they won't be able to enjoy it in its full capacity. So it's time for that to go. And then the rest that I can sell, they'll be sold at GLAMbot. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking it through with me. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. And as always, remember to stay compassionate and chic. Until the next time, guys. Mwah. Bye.